Make a new plan, Stan. Slip out the back, Jack. Yeah, there's 50 ways to leave your lover, but there's also more than 50 life lessons we can learn from being like Mike. Hello again, everyone. I'm Eli's dad with Project Eli, where we educate, lead, and inspire. Today is our last installment on lessons that you can learn from being a basketball player or coach. And once again, you don't have to be a basketball aficionado to learn these lessons. This is real simple stuff, but we're just comparing. There are different venues that you can learn life's lessons from. Basketball is one of them, especially if you want to be like Mike, as in Michael Jordan. Let's get started. First one, sacrifice. All right. As a player, as a coach, you have to be willing to sacrifice things that the 95% crowd is doing in order to be a 5%er. One of the things that I always hated was, as a coach, I would have my guys come in the beginning, especially in the beginning of the season. We'd have practice Monday through Saturday. I'd have them come in on Saturday morning. We'd have a Saturday morning practice. Why did I do that? Because these kids would want to go out and play ball on their own, which is great, but I'm teaching them really good habits, getting rid of their bad habits so that they learn at pickup games, on the playground, wherever they're playing. And the 95% crowd has a tremendous influence. And I was always afraid that when people would come back on Monday from the weekend, that they would take a look at a basketball and say, hey, what's this? All right? They forgot everything that we taught them during the week. So I try to minimize that time that they were out there where they could reestablish their bad habits. So you need to sacrifice doing the things that the 95% crowd does, unless you want to be a 95%er. It's kind of as simple as that. You know, the 5%ers have different habits than the 95%ers have, and they're willing to sacrifice some of the things that 95%ers adhere to, like getting distracted, like not having a singleness of purpose, like all sorts of different things. That might mean, staying away from a beverage or other temptations that come your way. I especially mention this now to somebody that may be a teenager, Eli. All right, there are all sorts of new temptations that come by. Make good judgments. If you want something bad enough, you have to be in a position to say, no, I'm not going to do that. That's not going to serve me in the long run. And I'm not saying, get rid of all your friends, stop socializing, so on and so forth. All I'm saying is use good judgment. Use good judgment. Sometimes you have to sacrifice in order to achieve a worthwhile, bigger objective. Next thing we want to talk about is being under control. One of the things that happens in a basketball game is a guy gets the ball, he's going full bore, full tilt down the court. A defender stands in front of him. He hits, they call an offensive foul, we turn the ball over. And we say, hey, you're OC. You can't be OC. What's OC? Out of control. One of the things that major lessons that my number one mentor, Bob Anderson, taught me was, if you want to be in control of others, you have to be under control yourself. You have to be in control, you have to be under control to be in control. Just like when they tell you on the plane, if the oxygen mask comes down, put the mask over your face first, then put it over your children. You need to be in control. You need to be under control yourself before you can help other people. This is so true. So what is being under control? All right? There's a definition for that. Being under control means moving as fast as you possibly can in an effort to achieve something with the ability to stop, to keep yourself under control. The example I always like to give at the beginning of the basketball season is I would say, all right, we're going to talk a little baseball today. And the basketball team would look at me like I'm a nut. And I'd say, let's suppose you want to do a double play. All right, so there's a runner on first, you're playing second base, there's a ground ball hit to you, the shortstop goes over to cover second base, you have the ball. How do you pass the ball to the guy covering second base to get the double play going? Do you take it and throw it as hard as you can? No, because this guy's not going to catch it. Do you take it and throw it, a real easy pat and a real easy toss, it stays up in the air? No, because that takes too much time. You're not going to be able to get the double play. How do you do it? You throw the ball as fast as it's possible so that the guy receiving it is able to catch it easily and be in control. That's what being under control is. So if you're dribbling the ball, you want to be going as fast as you can, but be in a position to stop on a dime if you need to. Same thing is true in life. You want to, if you're on a roll, if you're going someplace, be in a position to make the most of it. But if you have to swerve, like in a car, if you have to swerve or put on the brakes, you want to be in a position where you can do that, because if you're not, it could be a serious car accident. Same thing is true. We don't want any car accidents in the wonderful world of business. Does that make sense to everybody? So go as fast as you can, but still be under control. Which brings me to balance, both physical and mental. In basketball, we talked about this a few times already. You want to be in a position where your knees are bent, in the triple threat position, because you can only dribble, pass, or shoot. Those are your three options, and they all start from the same position. You want to have the balance. You want to have a good balance physically and mentally. And, as far as like a basketball game is concerned, I want my guys thinking, hey, we're going to win. This is how we're going to do it. We got a good strategy. I have the skills to do it. We as a team have the skills to do it. We're going to bond together, and we're going to kick butt on this other team. That's the mindset I want my people to have. But if they have that mindset and they don't have any physical skills, what the heck good is it? Or if you have physical skills but you have a bad mindset, what good is it? You follow what I'm saying? Same thing is true in life. You want to be able to visualize what it is you want to accomplish, that objective, that burning desire, but you've got to get to the starting line. You've got to have the physical skills that complement the mental skills. And sometimes on the physical part of the balance sheet, you're going to run into disappointments. That's where the mental part of the balance sheet will come into play. And you say, you know what? That was a positive because I learned what not to do. All right? You have to be able to look at things the right way, and you have to say, all right, that's what I'm not going to do. Now, where's my next starting line? Where am I going to pick it up from here to achieve that big objective that I have in my mind, my burning desire? Does that make some sense? I hope it does. Next thing I want to talk about is your effort. One of the things in practice when people would run sprints, I was one of those guys that wasn't particularly super talented, super quick, had a lot of super ability. And there were guys on the team, and I'm talking about in college. In high school, that wasn't the case. But in college, there were guys that were not only better than me, but much better than me. And so I made an effort on every single drill, every single practice. I was going to go full bore. And when we were running sprints, I was running sprints all the way. I was always the first one done. Extra hustle. And the guys that were the good players, they would relax a little bit, take a little time off, whatever. But you know what? When I was coaching, I didn't allow that. You know why? Because you play as you practice. If you haven't done it in practice, you can't expect somebody to do it in the game. It doesn't work that way. That's why we practice diving on the floor. I don't expect people to dive on the floor in a game unless they've dived on the floor in practice. They have to know what it's like. I don't expect people to stand in front of a freight train and draw an offensive foul in a game if they haven't done it in practice. You've got to envision the things that are going, the obstacles that are going to come up, the challenges that are going to come up. And when you do practice them, you have to practice them at a high level. Because when you do that, then the game is easier. You've already done it, been there, done that, okay? I have experience, I've done that. I've already dived on the floor. You don't know how many games we won because our guys are on the floor getting that extra ball, that extra possession. In business, you want to get that extra possession also, that extra opportunity, that extra chance to succeed. Because you're going to fail, no question about it. But you only have to succeed once. Once you succeed, you're there, you made it. So you can fail 100 times, but once you succeed, you have achieved your outcome, you have achieved your goal. So, you play as you practice, practice hard. You always want to celebrate the little wins. A lot of times, one of the things we talk about in achieving a worthwhile goal is to chunk it down into its smallest components. When you're doing that, either as an individual or as a team, you are, of course, measuring results. These are some of the things we've gone over already. How coincidental. Additionally, once you achieve a certain success, you want to celebrate that success. You see that in the games, the high fives, the dancing, all that kind of stuff. All right, to me, that's a little bit overboard. All right, but in business, in life, these are things that you want to celebrate. And because you want to take notice, and it gives you inspiration to go on to the next thing. So, and it's a bonding thing. Celebrating is something, especially with the team, that you do it with the team. We had I remember we had a major objective we were trying to reach when I was back in the sales game, and everybody put out this unbelievable extra effort, and we accomplished the goal. And I said, you know what? We're going to go to Catalina. I'm going to buy some tickets. I'm going to take everybody to Catalina, and you can bring your significant other with you. I'm buying the tickets. You did a super job. Great work. Now, I've never gotten as seasick on the trip to Catalina as I did that time. That's one of the reasons I remember it. But the people on my team remember that. They recognize that. They used to have production quotas for us in the sales game. If you reached a certain level as an individual or as a team, then you got to go on these fabulous trips. I mean, that was a great inspiration. So celebrations are important. Make sure that you celebrate your successes with your team. It's a bonding experience. And the last one I want to talk about, now we've given you more than 50 different ways here, 50 different things life lessons that you can learn from playing basketball. This one is perhaps the most important one. So listen carefully. There's two sides to basketball. There's offense, which everybody loves. I love to shoot, I love to dribble, I love to pass. Everybody loves offense. And then there's the other half of the game, and I say half of the game, which is defense. You know what defense is mostly? It's want to. Some guys are motivated, some guys have the want to, I want to defend. It's want to, want to, want to. You know what? Life is exactly the same way. Half of the battle in life is creating that burning desire, having that Y chromosome explode, visualizing the outcome that you want to achieve, and just making it something that you will not be denied. Achievement in life, 50% of it is want to. And because we will never end a meeting on a philosophical note, take these lessons if you want to be like Mike and get out there and charge! I'm Eli's dad.